Good morning, everybody. Welcome to class today. To get class started off this morning, I got a couple of announcements. First off, this morning I have probably the important announcement that I mentioned in my posting for putting the live stream link in the class today, and that is to be checking your email today. Make sure you'll be checking your email, although the people who need this the most probably aren't watching this video at this time. There are a certain number of you who are incredibly far behind on assignments and your progress in this course. You know who you are, I would assume. I will be contacting each of you after the live stream today, after I get off the live stream. Be contacting you via email and potentially some other methods to try to get a hold of you, just to see what's going on. Just so keep on the lookout for that. If you've been relatively staying up with your assignments, even if you've missed a few here or there, you're all right. You'll be fine. This is to a small number of you that I'm really speaking to here. But I just want to make sure that you're checking your email or what have you, just to make sure that you don't miss these communications from me. The other big announcement that I have for you this morning is if you are encountering any issues with the software that we're using for the course, I'm going to encourage you first to try to check with the publisher using the link that I gave you in the post following last week's live stream. That help link, because by and large, you're probably going to get helped faster if you just go ahead and do that yourself. So if you have, it'll be a shorter time in terms of like you sending me an email and then me contacting them, versus you just contacting them, since you have the opportunity to contact them directly. If it's something else, like if it's something Blackboard related or something like that, contact me and I can take care of it for you. But for the software type stuff that we're doing with the book publisher material, that's something that would be more quickly handled if you contacted them first. So that's two big announcements at the start of class today. One, be on the lookout for communication from me, and two, contact the book publisher if you're having trouble with their software. They can help you solve your issues more quickly than having to try to go through me and try to figure it out that way. So today we're going to talk about the uses of word processing, and it's probably going to be a bit of a shorter live stream today, because really when we're talking about Microsoft Word and Microsoft Word kind of based content, I figure you all kind of are used to Microsoft Word. Like, by and large, what we do with Microsoft Word in terms of writing papers for classes and things of that nature, like it's something that we're all relatively well accustomed to, like with the exception of some rarely used features. We're probably utilizing Microsoft Word as much or more than anyone, being students at a community college, actively engaging in different classes where you need some kind of word processing software. So I just want to talk about some of the features and applications of word processing programs. I'll show you a thing or two in Microsoft Word really quickly as we kind of go through today. But I believe this will probably be a bit of a shorter live stream today than some of our past ones have been. Just because I don't think we need to spend as long of time on this stuff as some of the other stuff that we've had. So obviously the primary purpose of word processing is text editing, right? Like text editing, you go into the document, you write things down, you can delete things, you can change things, you can add text in the middle of a sentence. You can add punctuation in the middle of a sentence. Text editing. When we say text editing, we're talking about text manipulation, and this usually refers to the ability to change the words, the sentences, and the paragraphs that have been typed. Now, this is completely separate from some other features that a word processing program allows us to do. For example, if we look at something like Notepad, which we have here, Notepad is also a text editor. I can type into this Notepad window, and I can edit the things that I've typed. I can go in here and change this text and all that kind of fun stuff. But what makes something like Notepad, which is simply a text editor, different from something like Microsoft Word, which is a word processor, is this idea of document formatting. And document formatting, we're talking about the text within a document being formatted in terms of how it looks, how it appears. So really, formatting can improve the readability of documents. And, this is what really separates word processing from text editing. And I want to talk about a feature that many of you might not use. I'm going to open up Word here and bring it into my window. We'll create a new blank document. And so by and large, we're used to using Word, but there's probably some features of Word that we're not used to using. And one of these features is probably the Style panel, which is right here in your Home tab. You've probably seen that there, and you've probably used it before, and you're like, well, what's the purpose of that? Why is it so restrictive? Like, I want my stuff to look different than this. And we have this here for two reasons. One's for semantics. So if we use these styles here in this style panel, it actually applies some code on the back of it, end of your document. So people who are utilizing other means to read your document, things like screen readers or things of that nature, for people who are blind or visually impaired, to actually be able to kind of skim the document, peruse the different headings, things of that nature. You can also use the styles semantically for auto-generating different components in your paper. Things like a table of contents. You can use your headings and you can auto-generate a table of contents. Maybe we'll do that really quickly after we get this done. But another thing is automation and making things quick. So if I go through and I define something as a heading, and then I think, oh man, I don't really like the way that looks, or oh man, my teacher told me that I used the wrong style here for this heading, instead of having to go back and edit every individual one, I can just change the style in my style panel and automatically change everything in the document. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to open up in another window here, I'm going to open up a little site that creates just some dummy text, so I can just quickly generate some dummy text for this paper, just so we can have something to fill it out. Because I really want you to be able to see how this kind of works. So I just got some dummy text here that we're just going to paste in here as some paragraphs. Accidentally hit some page breaks here. Need to get rid of that. And so now, I've got this paragraph text here. I'll go in here and make some fake paragraph headings. Paragraph heading 1 maybe down here, paragraph heading 2. Maybe another paragraph heading 1. Still another paragraph heading 1. Paragraph heading 3. Well, actually, we need to make that a paragraph heading 2 because it's right after a paragraph heading 1. You need to make your paragraph headings in order. So this will be a paragraph heading 2, and we'll make a paragraph heading 3. And then we'll go through and apply all of our styles to all of these. So everything that's just a regular paragraph, I'll select it and make sure it's set to normal. It picked up some styling from where I copied the text over, so I kind of want to change it anyway. So I'm going to take just everything that's a regular paragraph of regular text, set it to normal. And now I can address my headings. So if I want a paragraph heading 1, I can come up here and I can click paragraph heading 1, and it styles it. Heading 2, heading 2. Looks like I may put an extra space in there. Let's fix that really quickly. Another paragraph heading 1, heading 1. Another paragraph heading 1, heading 1. Paragraph heading 2, heading 2. Paragraph heading 3, heading 3. All right, so now we have all these different headings in here, and they're all different styles. And they might or might not look how you want them. Now, if we did all this manually, I would have had to have gone through, selected each of them, gone to my font panel, changed every font setting to be the way that I wanted it for each one. And then maybe I get this information back from my teacher, back from my instructor, and they tell me, oh no, I'm sorry, that's not the correct way that you're supposed to do that. What I wanted was a double-spaced Times New Roman. Headings are supposed to be Times New Roman, 14-point, centered. So I could select everything and use my font panel and do it all at once, or I could just use my styles panel and change my styles. If I right-click my style and select modify, I can change it. And so this is my normal style. This is for all my paragraph text. So from here, I can change the font to Times New Roman. I can change the font size to 12. I can even change the line spacing if I wanted to, which is down here in the format, I believe. Or, let's see, it's somewhere in here. What we got here? This is before and after. I think in my paragraph, in my paragraph settings. In my paragraph settings, I can line space to double. And OK. And just like that, it'll take everything that I set to normal before and do all the changing on it. So I don't have to go back through and select every individual thing. I don't have to do all that stuff. Everything that I made normal before, it'll go through, change it automatically. Just like that. And we can see it work just like that. Everything's now Times New Roman. Everything's now double-spaced. Everything is the way that my teacher would have wanted it to be the first time. And I can do the same thing with my headings. I can right-click my heading level 1 and select modify. So maybe my teacher said, oh, no, your headings are supposed to be Times New Roman. They're supposed to be 14 points. They're supposed to be bold. They're supposed to be black. And they're supposed to be centered. Well, I can do that. And it does it automatically. And maybe I can do the same thing with my heading level 2s. And I can make my heading level 2s look exactly the same as my heading level 1s if the style guide that I was using called for it. Forgot to center that one. So we'll want to center. And even the heading level 3s. And you can make them all look the same, even though they're different heading levels. Which is a good thing. Because that way, that way you still get the benefits of the semantics behind the different heading levels. You know, the ability to, you know, have someone who is using a screen reader to parse these different heading levels. Being able to still travel down through the information in a correct order, or being able to make your automatic table of contents and have it still put it in there in the correct order. For example, if I wanted to put a table of contents in here, I could go up here to the top, just place my cursor where I wanted it to go, and go to, let's see, it's the references panel, table of contents. And I have an automatic table I can build here. I can build an automatic table of contents that just says contents, or an automatic table of contents that says table of contents. And it's going to build these automatic tables of contents based on these different heading levels. So I can just click one of these. It's going to stick it right in there. And from here, I can style it however I want to style it. I can even make it look like, you know, the different heading levels and things that I have automatically. I can take and, let's see here, I need to put my rulers on here so I can move my tabs and line these all up. If I wanted to line them all up, I can move my tabs and line them all up. And there I can have an automatically generated table of contents for my paper. And if something changed in my paper, for example, maybe I change one of these paragraph headings. Maybe I change this paragraph heading from paragraph heading 2 to paragraph heading 2-1. One of the great things about utilizing this is that it's automation. So I can go back here, I can go to update table, update the entire table, and there it changed that paragraph heading to paragraph heading 2-1. So it'll update your page numbers for you if things get shuffled around and put on different pages. It'll update the headings for you. If you go back and change your headings, you just have to make sure that you're using that styles panel and creating all your styles from the styles panel, and then you're creating a really easy, really quick, really simple document. So that's really awesome. So if you're not using your Word styles panel, you should be. Another thing that we know is that we can add graphics to our papers. We can add pictures, images, charts, graphs, you know, anything that is useful in a way of brightening up our document or making it more visually appealing for the person who's reading it. You know, we're talking about pictures, clip art, shapes, smart art, charts, graphs, all sorts of things. And we also have some basic editing options with inside of Word that you can utilize for that. And I showed you a little bit of the next thing. I showed you a little bit of tabs in the previous document there we were looking at. Tabs allow the setup of text on a page in the exact position it should appear by allowing the cursor to advance to the next stop or set position. So we were looking at with the ruler there. So this is achieved by setting up tabs and using the tab key on the keyboard. And this is really useful instead of having to press spacebar again and again and again and again. We can just do that with our Word document. And so this is a little example of how we do it. I'm going to bring my Word document back actually and do it for you. as a bit of an example here. So just here at the end of this paragraph, I'm going to type some text. Let me zoom in a little bit here so we can see this a little bit better. So one of the ways that you might be used to kind of laying out text in your Word document is just adding spaces if I want to have some spaces between things. So I might have thing 1, space, 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 hold it down, you know, let it really go. Thing 2, some spaces, maybe thing 3, and some other spaces, and thing 4. Now you might do this with spaces, or you might do this with like a table or something like that. But we can also do this with tabs. So what I'm going to do with my tabs is select this row. Now I have a lot of these awkward spaces here. I don't want these awkward spaces here. I'd rather have tabs here. And so when I select this row, I can just click up here on my ruler bar to create a tab, line the line up with where I want the text to go, and that'll create a tab, or a tab stop rather. And so now I can use my tab key to dictate the position of all of these elements and get rid of all these extraneous spaces. So now when I tab, it jumps to those tab stops I set on my ruler. We can see them up here. They line up. There are different types of tab stops depending on where you want to stop your word. You can have a centered tab stop, a left aligned tab stop, or a right aligned tab stop. But this just makes things a little bit easier in terms of just, you know, setting up your document, having a nice little formatted thing. Another way to do that is by using tables. A table is a grid of cells. Looks kind of like a spreadsheet, but it's not a spreadsheet. You know, it's kind of important to talk about tables in relation to spreadsheets, especially since we're getting ready to go into spreadsheets next week. A table is a grid of cells arranged in rows and columns, but it's for data, right? We're talking about data relevant to a topic. So we typically use it to lay out large sets of data. Word also uses tables for things like footnotes and figure captions, and that table of contents that we made earlier is based on a preset table. But the type of tables that you make using your tables tab is a data table. Now, what's the difference between a data table and a spreadsheet? Well, a data table, a table consists of figures. And it's just data. It's just information. It's just designed to display things to you. Just kind of ordering information. It looks like a spreadsheet, but it's not a spreadsheet. A spreadsheet has a specific purpose, and that purpose of a spreadsheet is calculation. It's math. And we have these cells in the spreadsheet which can interact with each other, utilizing relative references. So really, when it comes to the difference between tables and spreadsheets, the difference between the two is the purpose. And a lot of people will use a spreadsheet as a table a lot of times, when really they could have just used a table in a Word document and probably done things a lot easier. Because, you know, tables are in Word, spreadsheets are in Excel. And we will talk in depth about tables next week. One of the final things that I want to talk about is mail merge and label printing, which is not something that's done as often anymore, but you can still do that. Doing the mail merge is something that can be done to kind of make a template to create letters or envelopes or various other things. You know, you can create a batch of labels, you can create to put label stickers onto envelopes, or you can directly print onto the envelopes themselves, depending on what your printer can do. The mail merge stuff looks like this. You have that Start Mail Merge button. It'll bring up a dialog that will allow you to either import a file or create a database of names and addresses. And then you can merge them together. I would demonstrate this for you, but I don't have a good database of stuff to do it with. So maybe some other time we can kind of look at that. So really, that's all that I have for you for this live stream. If you have any questions, I'll be hanging out in the chat for people who are live with me just another minute or two. If you have any questions, you can feel free to ask me live. If you are watching this recorded, please email me your questions. But that's all that I have for this week. Remember that the assignments for Module 8 are due on Sunday. The Module 9 assignments will begin next week. It's another 2-week module. If you have any questions, please let me know. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.